President Biden's address last night, willingly giving up power and passing the torch to a younger generation. It's quite a contrast from what we've been seeing on the other side of the aisle.
I revere this office, but I love my country more. I draw strength and I find joy in working for the American people. But this sacred task of perfecting our union is not about me. It's about you, your families, your futures. It's about we, the people. The great thing about America is here, kings and dictators do not rule. The people do. History is in your hands. The power is in your hands. The idea of America lies in your hands. We just have to keep faith, keep the faith, and remember who we are. We're the United States of America, and there's simply nothing beyond our capacity when we do it together. So let's act together, preserve our democracy.
So here's the tougher question. Why is it, in light of what we just saw in the grace and the dignity of Biden, do we have so many people willing to fall into this sort of darker narrative with Trump?
Well, I think historians will be studying that for generations, but they have lost faith. So the president mentioned that word faith last night, and he wasn't talking about religious faith. He was talking about civic faith, belief in the idea of America. And so the Biden way, the George Washington way, the Abraham Lincoln way, is to talk about the power of ideas, particularly the power of the American idea of the rule of law and the peaceful transfer of power. The other side, the radicals, believe in the idea of power, not the power of the idea. They're just interested in power, getting it and keeping it. And that tweet you saw shows they have no class. They have no real understanding of the decency, the mystic chords of memory that Lincoln spoke of, that are supposed to bond us. So right after the Civil War, Lincoln is talking about with charity for all, with malice toward none. And Joe Biden referred to Lincoln and malice last night. We're not supposed to be a malicious country. And these people in the Republican Party now, in the leadership of that party, they're malicious. They're nasty. Why couldn't they just show a little class? He wasn't fired. That's what they wanted to do if he had stood for re-election, if they had beaten him. They could have then said, on the day after the election in November, we fired Biden. Okay, that would have been legit. This was not a firing. This was a decision that the president made in the larger interest of the country. And what Harris has to do, and she's off to a great start, is to say, no, I'm not the radical, San Francisco liberal. He is the radical. Trump is the radical. He's the one who is, I'll say it, she can't quite say it this way, he's the un-American candidate in this race. And so I think people have to get a sense that there are big constitutional issues at stake here. And when President Biden talked about protecting democracy, he wasn't exaggerating. It's really on the line. This is not a draw, Michael.